sometimes you just need the right persuasion device. There we go. Maybe I'll paint with this later. Okay, let's see. That actually shows the last time I painted. A lot of the paints I can't even get open. Oh, there's green on that left over from something. Oh, let's use the whole thing. Go lemon yellow from Galleria right here in this section. That's nice. There we go. Another one bites the dust. Do that later. What else we have? Black plum. Some random paint left over from God knows when. Oh yeah, that's good. Some of that out there. So I saved some of these guys, and I use some water in there, or acrylic medium, and that's how I make some of the drippy stuff too. Pour a little water in there for fun. That would be weird. Let's see what happens. Working a palette knife. It's actually a tool used for drywalling. I just love leaving some of the extra stuff in there because its textural quality is almost sculptural, and because my background comes from that sculpture, I kind of find it really fascinating to throw that in there. A little yellow in that. Down here. I like the improvisation of the paint. I'm not really sure exactly. I have a general idea of maybe what I'm going to do. Sometimes, as Bob Rossi used to say, you just gotta let those happy accidents happen. And I'm a big proponent of those happy accidents. So here I'm just kind of letting the paint, instead of scraping clean, maybe be a little thicker. Almost kind of like see the layering that can happen when you allow it to thicken up a bit. Take some of the extra paint right off on the side of it. It's good. This is really nice right here, a little glob of white. Just clean off the edge a little bit. See the paint that's loaded on this palette knife, we can bring back into some of the areas to create some effects. Okay. So that linear quality I'm doing with the blade here is going to be kind of important to create some structure, if you will, to the painting, and I think that's really important to do. You see some people use long brushes with the on the end of a stick and things, which is pretty cool. Oh, look what's happening here with the water. Interesting. I'm going to go ahead and clean my brush off, my palette knife off. Ah, see? Happy accident. Gotta love it. Balance that out with a little something up there. With the paintings, you gotta have some quiet spots too, some quiet zones in there. And so I'm gonna allow some of that to happen. All right, let's take this yellow. Let's see what happens. That's yellow. Oh yeah, some bright sections mixed in. Move that bright color through the middle on its own at first, and then we're gonna blend that. Maybe with another palette knife, a smaller one, because I don't want to lose that purity of color. So now I'm going to work that in a little bit. swoop through here. Sometimes you gotta just flick it. You know, and there's a buildup of paint in here. I'm tempted to leave this as a contrast. What's happening out here with the thinner poles of the material. I'm kind of liking this already. A little bit over here. Yeah, it's nice, fills that. Continues this line quality through the middle. So you got this nice swooping linear effect happening with that color. I might have to take a little something here. That. So once I get the initial paint down on the canvas, then I can go back in and work it a little more and see if maybe we need to, you know, take some of the stuff out or add some in. Kind of like this yellow coming up in here a little bit more too. This linear quality that I can get with the edge of the. That's nice. I like this corner over here. I don't really want to mess with it too much. I don't want to bring the yellow in there. I want that contrast happening. There we go. Let's do something here. Something extra there. Like that star down in there. This nice little contrast. So that water already, you can see it's affecting the pigmentation in the paint and creating some cells and some different little swirls happening down there. So I might do something more in here. I'm not sure yet. Maybe I'll just put black. Highlight those sections a little bit. Really accent this idea of a linear quality. Let's clean my palette knife off. It's a little different approach I'm taking today based on, weirdly enough, watching other artists. There's always opportunity to learn, and I feel like I've learned some stuff today, and I think it shows. This is a pretty nice piece. It's a little different than what I've been doing. The question is, will I go too far? Because that's always a danger, going too far on this. So I'm going to take a brief moment and have a drink. Maybe make a decision on how much further I'm going to go with this. It's interesting because we got these linear lines here, and then over here, and then we created here with some paint that fell off of the palette knife. Got a lot of depth created in here from the scraping and adding new things into it. Awfully tempting to add more to this, but frankly, I'm almost wanting to leave it alone. I'm not thrilled with this color in the middle here, so I may have to come back into it with a different knife. Maybe this knife here. I like the round ones, but when you change the form of the palette knife, it'll influence what's coming on. I used to use the round one a lot. This is a round palette knife, oval shape. I used a lot of that. Let's move this around. Looking at the canvas as a whole and trying to determine where your eye is going to go, just using some really basic differences in line quality and contrast, directional, all those basic things we used to learn in school. Do something here. There we go, there's something a little different. I don't know why I've been doing this swipe thing for a while from the corners in. I'm not quite sure why, but I've been doing it for a while. This strong black down here, I'm going to have to do something to bring it maybe into this section here. I might have to or I could leave it alone and come back later. There is that possibility. Let it dry, and I can even work some stuff over the top of it. I'm having a hard time deciding. In the darker color, the black, I've created a little bit of structure in there. I think that's kind of interesting and possibly valuable. I might have to be done with this one. I'm not sure I can do much more without ruining it. Well, I paused the music. I was talking during the music, and I'm sure you're not going to actually ever hear that. I'm listening to Manu Katché, who is one of my favorite percussionists. But this is the painting so far. It's pretty interesting. You may have been watching with some canned music, and so you didn't hear a lot of the commentary, but I'm really fascinated by just a titch of the dark in there. I started with some dark color on the surface. I don't usually do that. I start with white normally. I'm liking what I see, and we'll see what happens when we dry down here at this spot. Right there, that spot there. So I'm not thrilled with that color, but as it dries, some of the heavier body clay that's talking about might do this work in ceramics. So we'll see what the color pigment that comes up through that water happens. But you see there's some palette knife work in there. I use some colors I'm not used to, but I have a lot of color stored back in there in all of the cupboards, and I'm just trying to use it up. And it's challenging me to do something different, and it's really exciting. So this is 30 by 40. I think it turned out pretty nice. I'm gonna do another one right now, I think. And I don't even know, I might record that one too. So thanks for experiencing this with me. I'm really excited. This was not the direction I was going with it, but I like it. Well, here's the other piece from last week. Took a long time to dry. There's some really interesting things happening up close with the paints that I manipulated with the palette knife, and I used a lot of different types of paint on this one, and it kind of shows the differences when you get some of this almost crystallization happening. Some people call it cells that are developed.
So the only thing that I'm not sure about is this part up here. So when I dried it, and I had to dry it on the floor, and it took several days, but overnight the really fluid paint in here drifted. But it drifted in almost in this really strong square shape here. I'm not really sure what to do with that. So that's the debate I'm doing today is, do I enhance that? Do I try to cover it up? Trying to cover it up often leads to more issues. If that hadn't drifted, I'd be 100% happy with this painting, and I think I would have been finished.